Tonight on Tonight We Race. We race! And here we find ourselves on the final Tuesday of Season 1 in the brilliant Cayman GT4 Club Sport MR. On the south course of Virginia International Raceway, apparently did I set this up for the morning? I'm going to be honest, I wasn't really paying attention to that section when we put this together. They are on lone qualified today, so there is no traffic in play, as our cold open racers strive to turn in a clean lap before the race begins and the AI take hold. If you were here in previous weeks, you probably remember that we've raced Virginia International Raceway full and north course now twice. I like the south course because it keeps some of the fun elevation change and tight turns, but it gives you access to the long straight on the backside with a left-hand pit, which is kind of cool here. Trap receives his green flag for the flying lap. A much better exit into that corner. Wonderful. Gonna go get himself some rev limit on that. Space Puny's already 16 seconds into his flying lap. Mickey likewise. And Drain likewise. This could be their first and only lap in the lone qualifier. We'll see. Space Punies is going to come around first. Turns 11 and 12 here, a critical compound turn. We're getting overly aggressive on the first half of it, just screws you for this entire straight. Space Punies is going to turn in a 110.6. Trap coming around through the same section. Steps on it. He is going to produce a 1:16.8. Mickey is already in. And it's possible Drain didn't get a clean lap there. Or he's decided to go for more. You can never tell. Space Punies thoughtfully giving us the scores here. Space Punies will be up in the front four for the beginning of this race. In the enormous field of AI GT4 racers that will give them every amount of berth they need to race safely tonight, I'm sure.
Big doubt on that. We'll see.
Trap, you've already turned in your one, so you're more than welcome to advance the session here. Everybody else is pitted in.
Great.
It's always a mystery who gets the advance the session button. It's usually pod 1 because that's where we set the races up on, but you never know. Also, did that take? Yes, that took. Great. They grid in.
Oh, no AI? Oh, yeah.
Oh, no.
They're there.
Plenty of AI. Thank you for asking. Checking out Space Punies up here in Pod 2. While that is a nice place for him to be, it's not where all the drama is going to be. So let's take a step back here. Off they go. Drain a little late on the gun. Space Punies with his Pack 04. Already some contention on this right-hander. Maintaining place. Trap with his pack. Mickey, look of concentration on Mickey. Look at that. Look at them flow like water up over that hill. Punished for his aggression over the grass. Drain holding it together. The Thrustmaster car ahead of him thinks to dive in, but then thinks the better of it. just like water over the grass showed. You know this track. You know it well. You've been spending an awful lot of time in Virginia. I believe that Space Punies is now in 5th. I think the number 12 car snuck around in there. Yep. Hello, little ship. Let's see what the drama detector says. The drama detector says this is where we want to be. We have some very questionable overtaking going here tonight in the cold race. Oof. Trap, I'm going to recommend you and Mickey give each other some space. This flowing into the same apex thing isn't working out for either of you. As Drain silently chuckles. Drain, of course, in contention for second place tonight. Not that this particular race counts for anything being the cold open. Space Punies does not look like he has pace on his pack up there. Addicted to the power of the AMG from his GT4 League nights, he may not be ready for the momentum management here of the GT4 Cayman. It's all very tidy, very pretty. When last we had this crew here, it was oval night, and the undisputed surprise of the evening was how fast and zen-like Mickey gets in an oval track. Drain in 21, but hanging out with his pack here. While we were away, Space Punies updated his position to 3rd. He clearly unlocked something in that last lap. Trap in 24 coming through the compound right, keeps it appropriately wide in the first half, cuts it back in. And now he gets all the straight to thank himself. Gotta remember with these new mics, I can't drink on camera like that. Slurp, slurp, slurp. Racing ASMR. Space Punies with a real shot at overtaking the number 2 car here. He's going to flow into the compound right. He's forced into a bad angle on that. No, he pulls that out. Very nice. He's got to stay on the number 13 car's butt here in the draft and hope that takes him forward. iRacing, of course, having an actual fluid dynamics model for aerodynamics while in the air. He's diving inside. Wisely doesn't commit to that. Mickey out in the clean air. And Drain with his pack at 21. Drain is holding steady with these AI drivers. His problem is that if he manages to pass number 6 here, he's then in the thick of those guys, who seem to be a bit clicky, if I'm being honest. Trap out in the clear air. A little wide on the entry and exit through there, but running into the sweeps. One of my favorite elevation changes in motorsport. Because, surprise, you're turning left. Eight minutes, 40 seconds on the cold open race. Showed I was contemplating updating the news for tonight after Knox over in Discord thoughtfully pointed out the update from iRacing on their joint venture with Microsoft that we are not going to talk about tonight. But hey, we're here, why not, right? Where Microsoft has been partnered with in order to advance the forefront of, correct me if I'm going to get this acronym wrong, action-based AI, driving action-based AI for this. My comment, of course, was great. The people that brought us drivatars are going to race in the league where contact can be disqualified. We'll see what comes out of it. I'm trying to keep an open mind. Checking in on Space Punies, I believe. That he's now in 2. With the third place car hot on his rear and about a 3.5 second gap to first. He could pull it off with 7.5 left. But he is going to have to play to the strength of the 718. Which, if you're used to the bends, means, hey, maybe lay off the curbs a little bit because you are substantially lighter. You do not get to eat the hot dog, as they say. Mickey in 23 pulling up on his next rival. Little spicy on the entry there. A common thing we see our drivers do here in the lab, which is when they lose their front grip, they attempt to turn the wheel harder as opposed to applying brake force to bring the weight on the front down. Space Punies still about 3.25 seconds away from his friend there. However, his immediate rival in the rear has fallen off by about 1.5 seconds. The trap making a lovely exit here. And into the compound right-hander, which is what we were working on earlier. Excellent. Opens it up nice and early. Very nice. That's what we like to see. Drain is not fooled by the emergency left-hand drop. Excellent. You'd think that Virginia South is a small course for the number of AI we put on it, but everyone's keeping pretty big distance here. Five minutes on the clock. Looking at our best lap times here, it's a trap still turning in 1/16s, cut about 0.8 of a second off of his time. Space Punies almost running 110 flat. Mickey doesn't have that display up currently. And Drain a 112.4. So everybody spread out here as far as the pace is concerned. We suspect that the vast majority of the AI pack is currently living between Space Punies and everyone else. You can see a little bit of headlights back there in his rear view. The field of view and settings of the virtual rear view, something we are going to deeply research and change between seasons 1 and 2. I don't think anyone's happy with the disparity between the real-time rendered left and right-hand mirrors in the virtual one. It can be very disconcerting when you're like, oh wait, no, that actually means they're up my butt. Which is not a place you want another car to be. Unless that's your kink, I suppose. Space Punies pulling up on traffic, which could hinder his opponent, but could also hinder him. Space Punies using much more of the rev range there and gets advantage on that straight through just staying on the hammer longer. AKA driving it like it's stolen. The plant doesn't need to last between 2 races. Trap watching him go. Mickey in 23 with the leaders coming up behind him at about 20 seconds distance. Drain in 22, about 3 seconds ahead of Mickey. Which, again, the cold open race does not count for points, but if this were the real race, that's exactly what he needs to do since the 2 of them are in contention for second place. Two minutes on the clock. Will we have drama? Space Punies still trying to get advantage on the number 1 car. Now down to 2 seconds behind. But with 1 minute left. Oh, and down to a 109.5. He's definitely picking up pace here. But is that going to turn into a gain for him is the only real question. Surprise left hand. Wasn't surprised. Close. It's doable. Mickey out in the clear air. Drain just ending his straight, so that's the gap between those two. Trap about to enter it. Oh, so close. And with the white flag out, this is going to be the last lap. He has to make it happen here. It's not going to happen at all. He knows that nothing can happen to his standings here. With the late break, he pulls it off. But did he carry enough through to hold it? Yes, he did. The other car backs out. Now he just needs to deal with Vincente in his rear for 1 entire lap. A little late on the switchback there. About a half-second gap. And Vincente's not going to be able to pick that up. So the only thing that's really going to separate at this point is the compound right. Smooth through 11, goes wide, cuts in hard for 12. Excellent, excellent. And that's going to be curtains. That's going to be a human victory in a cold open race. Not something we do particularly often.
Oh man, that was intense.
You pulled it off, buddy.
Yeah. The lead like sandbag by 2 seconds that last lap.
Shote congratulates you. Go Team Humans. Shote, we need to figure out the most economical way to get chat just above the central monitor. And I don't know if that's 4 shitty androids or something else, but we should discuss it. I shouldn't have to relay your heartfelt congratulations all the way to the back of the studio. And that's going to be the final checkered flag as Mickey pulls into the final straight. But pits before the checkered flag. Amigo, I think they wanted you to go through the thing. I mean, I guess you can just go out and high five the guy.
Me?
No, it was me. I pitted early.
All right, let's take a look at Trap's display here. The cold open race, which counts for absolutely nothing. Space Punies pulling off an exceedingly rare human victory over the AIs on Virginia South here, and then a whole mess of crap, and then Drain in pod number 4, Mickey in pod number 3, and Trap in pod number 1. Only 1 lap gap between them all. That's not particularly bad. Well done, everybody. Go ahead and pack it in, and let's get the show on the road. And by pack it in, I mean, I guess, mow the lawn, Drain? What are you doing over there? We did not ask for gardening services. Sorry, let me get my clipboard and shit out of your way here. Welcome back.
Hello.
How was it?
Yeah, that was fun. The GT4s are fun.
I am a big fan. I think of the things we have access to, modulo the things we have the skill to drive.
Yes.
This is the sweet spot. IMO. In any event, welcome to the final Tuesday night of Season 1. On Tonight We Race, Seattle's secret underground racing laboratory.
Secret because we're not zoned as a racetrack.
Underground out of deference to the original downtown Seattle, which now lives 20 feet below the surface. No, true story.
The racing bit, we hope, is self-explanatory at this point.
And lab, because here on Tonight We Race, we want to expose you to some of the aspects of simulation you may not have convenient access to. Not all of which necessarily involve racing. Press a button. We'd say stick around, but this is Tuesday Crew's last hurrah until Season 2 is announced, so it's kind of like the last day of camp. I'm Meridine, host and auto detailer, and tonight I'm joined by It's a Trap of the Tuesday Crew, who is, of course, doing double duty as both co-host and a driver. Trap, this is it. Last week. What can we expect?
Well, I mean, I've looked at the standings. It looks like, and we'll get to those in a bit. But yeah, things are pretty solid. I think we've figured out how the cars work. It's great.
All right, well, let's talk all about those things. I've got a thing here. It looks like that. And then I press this one, and it does this.
Oh, look at that. Yeah. So yeah, before we move on, let's look at that opening race. That was, of course, the Porsche 718 Cayman GT4 Club Sport ME.
MR. That's a typo on
MR?
my part.
All right. Well, it's a lot to say. The Cayman is Porsche's upstart rock star, built with better intrinsic dynamics than its big brother, the 911. They said they'd never put a GT3 engine in the Cayman, but lo and behold, here's a race-prepped mid-engine track star with a GT3 engine in it. Just, detuned to keep the 911 people happy.
And if there's one thing Porsche needs to do, it's keep the 911 people happy. We put the Cayman on Virginia International Raceway, but only the South course. Why? Well, actually, the short answer is that dropping left-hander. Because we raced the North course last week. While the North course is a hilly handful, the South course has access to the long straight, making the exit from turns 11 and 12 critical to picking up or keeping speed. And indeed, we indexed in on that quite frequently. As always, we will intro our drivers before our first feature race. But before that, let's run the news.
Ah, the news.
And I think you've got the first bit tonight.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, there's one big piece of news, and that is, of course, Formula One and Max Verstappen, who is now a 4-time champion.
That's not like the record, but that's close to a record, right? Like he's
on
now
track,
he's
yeah.
in rare air now.
Correct. He is now a member of a very small club. But there are some questions about whether he will extend his streak. I guess apparently the Red Bull car is not the fastest car out there, as evidence from the race in Las Vegas. And there's also some rumors that there may be some internal turmoil at Red Bull.
Ooh, drama.
Drama. I think in particular, their principal, Christian Horner, is having some accusations that he's been a bit too friendly with some of his staff.
You mean like that kind of too friendly?
Yeah, that kind of too friendly.
Okay, now we're straying way too close into actual drama, which is the antithesis of everything we're trying to do. Good Lord.
Maybe less controversial. Oh, maybe more controversially, Max himself has said that he is now wanting to retire. Maybe not immediately, but it is in his plan.
Wait, Max wants to retire after 4?
Not after 4.
Okay,
But
okay.
but he's starting to look at the numbers now.
I actually don't think Verstappen's victory is the actual through line of this. Although it's his season, he won championship, great. For me, the hero of Las Vegas was Lewis Hamilton, who after turning in the best lap in qualifying, blew it in Q3 and got put back to 10th, and still podiumed.
Oh, yeah.
He charged 10th to 2nd in a Formula One race, which is astounding. Not that anyone doubted he was capable of that. So, here's a fun bit of news. There exists a country named Brunei, and Brunei is a sultanate, and the Sultan of Brunei is well known and well documented to be a car collector, an extensive car collector, a car collector on the level that we actually can't really contemplate as mere humans working for a living with salaries. A number of people have been, and there's been lots of news articles about this over the years. A number of humans have received access to some of the garages where these cars are stored over the years, and some of them have been permitted to take photos. And like every so often you see a news article that has some of these photos. These guys, I presume to be guys, who can say, it's a sultanate, like these people have collected all these photos and were keeping them for their own internal use. And apparently there was some drama around whether this massive photo stash was allowed to be distributed to mere humans such as the rest of us. And so someone said, screw it, and pulled the trigger and put every single one of them up on Google Drive.
Wow.
Which we, of course, promptly acquired. This is just we're unzipped out into the front folder here. Let's talk through some, and this is just what's been photographed. Let's talk through some of this car collection. That is a McLaren F1. Possibly the most legendary super/hypercar of the last 50 years. You may recall it has a center seat. It is a 3-seater.
Right.
The driver is in a forward cockpit with his best mates on his elbows behind him. A car famous for Jay Leno trucking around some cops undercover cops, not knowing they're cops. So yeah, he's got one, but that's not the story. The story is he's got 8 of them.
8 of them? Wow.
Not just one McLaren F1, 8. One of which is a Le Mans GTR, which I didn't get separate photos of. Obviously, they live in this folder. What an extraordinary largesse. Do you like 911 turbos? Here's just the list of buckets of 911 turbos, of which there are photos in here from all over the years, modern through the past. Here is the most sacrilegious thing I have ever seen, and I've seen the Cybertruck. This is a 911 turbo in a Ferrari Testarossa body kit. Who does this?
What?
Who does this and why? Here's a blank slide for some reason. Okay, the Porsche 959. The progenitor of so many things, definitely the progenitor of 911 Turbo and its modern performance regime. A car that was built for Group B rally. And a large portion of the reason why there is no Group B rally anymore. This car is too fast. It was too powerful. The all-wheel drive system was too good. And indeed, if you want one of these cars, you need to be Bill Gates so you can get one imported, because these were never legal in the United States under any circumstances. Well, here's about 12 of them in various rows.
I see.
It's one of those situations. Here is inexplicably a Jeep Grand Cherokee, which
why not?
I thought deserved its own photo in this collection. What an amazing collection! So that scoop came from The Drive, the online magazine, and if you follow their article, there are routes to get a hold of all these photos. The legality of having these is pretty questionable, because like the way it got out is kind of weird, and who actually owns the copyright's kind of weird. I've destroyed this archive.
Okay.
I did what I wanted to do. I walked through memory lane and then I walked away.
Yep.
You might be differently inclined. Go find it. It's out there. The schedule.
Right.
It's the final Tuesday night of season 1. You just saw the Porsche 718 Cayman GT4 MR Club Sport on Virginia International South. It's Porsche night, and so inexplicably, there's also going to be a 911 GT3 Cup on the Nürburgring. That's the Grand Prix, not the Nordschleife. And feature race number 2, of course, is going to be the incredible Porsche 963 GTP on Le Mans. That's going to be a lot of fun to watch, and I'd imagine it's going to be even more fun to drive. The drivers for tonight. Hi, it's Trap.
Hello.
You've met.
Yes. Space
Punies, who still refuses to get me a new picture. Likewise with Mickey, and then, of course, Drain rounding out the Tuesday crew. Tuesday crew, of course, does not have any remote drivers. It's just going to be us. Rella asks if there are any GT3s in Smurf Blue. It's impossible to know and a sin to ask, Rella. The standings for the season, and this is where things get important. With the 4 drivers in the Tuesday Night League, we run a series of 5, 3, 2, 1 points for the scoring, and of course the nightly challenges are worth 1 for each driver, potentially. And that leads us to where we stand before going into the scoring races tonight. Space Punies out in a commanding lead with 29 points. There is not any way for anyone to catch him at this point. Because well, okay, I'm sorry, that's not true. He could he could walk out the door right now. He could leave and not race.
I'm out of here.
He could black flag on the start.
Yeah,
you know?
so he could be deked, and you could win each race and get the challenge point.
Right.
And then we'd have to come to some sort of personal duel to resolve the tie.
Right.
So Space Punies is probably doing okay. Drain and Mickey in hot contention for the second place, and then Trap, who has the ignominy of having to also sit up here with me, rounding us out. Which brings us to preparing for feature race 1. If you can give me some scrolling through the script here.
Oh, yeah.
It's Porsche night on Tonight We Race, obviously, and we've arranged a slow, steady progression of faster and faster top-tier track monsters. Next up is the GT3 Cup car, which rather than compete in sanctioned GT3 or GTE, which it also does in slightly different trim, this one competes in a single-make spec GT3 called Cup Racing with other Porsches. This particular example has 503 horsepower, that's just slightly more than the Cayman GT4, and 347 foot-pounds of torque, also just slightly more than the GT4, and the engine, of course, hangs out over the rear axle as God intended.
So, of course, we're taking the GT3 to its natural habitat, the Nürburgring Grand Prix circuit. Built in 1984 to host Formula One, the Grand Prix circuit hands off the ends of the arguably more famous Nordschleife?
Nordschleife, you got it.
All right, otherwise known as Green Hell. I see. The circuit is exceptionally well maintained, precisely engineered, and has something that will challenge every aspect of the car that races it.
Very German.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, you need to go get to your pod.
I do.
And I think we need to find the drain. Let me go light the lights here. Oh, here he is. Oh, I'm sorry. I can still light the lights. There. You can't see this because we haven't set up the green room camera in the green room, but the lights do actually flash red when we want to summon the drivers back in here. Looks like we need to get Pod 1 and Pod 4 sessioned in here, and then we are off to the races. Rella, what were you oohing for? Was it the GT3? Specifically, the Cup. The neat thing about the Cup car is that is the engine that then makes it back into the actual street legal GT3 from the next generation. So my GT3 had the 991 Cup car engine in it, which is it's a nice way of doing business. Looks like we have loading bars of everybody here. Yeah, one of the cool things about Porsche Rella is like there's just like lots of really neat through lines of lineage that kind of run through all the cars. Which is again something that you can do when you've got close to, I guess we're pushing 90 years of real history here. Although we probably don't really want to talk about the first 10 when they were building tank turrets for the Nazis, but that is definitely a thing that happened. Let's go check out what's going on in Podland here. Obviously, they are in the practice session in their GT3s. In the massive and modern Nürburgring grandstands. Trap, I think they've got a pit limiter. If that's of any interest to you.
Yeah, okay, I should probably use that.
Man, that hairpin.
They hairpin you right away, alright.
Not a thing to fuck with. Looks like Space Punies might have dropped the hammer there just a hair early. It does bite. Space Punies, can you double check your audio for me?
Oh, yes. Check.
There we go. Thank you.
Can't chew gum and walk bubble gum at the same time.
I also have difficulty walking bubblegum. Mickey out there turning in some times. And Drain sailing through. Coming around the south end and heading back up. There are actually two configurations of the Grand Prix circuit that we have access to, one of which deletes the little AMG arena thing in the middle of it, which I think we're going to pass here in just a second. I have chosen to delete the AMG arena, both for brand loyalty reasons and also that's a lot of super tight hairpin for drivers that aren't used to GT3s. Though equipped with traction control and stability management and brake bias control, it will not save you from yourself. Lots of aggressive braking sounds. Drain, I don't think they like the route you took through there. I think the cones may have been some sort of communications mechanism. The biggest difference that the drivers are probably going to notice here is that though Porsche has done everything that they can to balance the weight out here, this is still a rear-engined vehicle. The polar moment's very different, and when it swings, it swings. Also, that extra bit of torque means if you stamp it early, you're going to pay for it. Trap on the hammer there, just a hair early. Is the Michael Schumacher S, named for, of course, legendary driver Michael Schumacher of Formula One fame, who then, like Sonny Bono, ate it on a skiing accident, and that was the unfortunate end of his career. The Schumacher family being incredibly private about the condition of Michael over the years, which, again, very understandable, but also probably doesn't mean it's very good. Don't go Sonny Bono style. That's the moral of the story. Trap, when you're in a good place, you can bring them on in. because it is time to qualify. And because this is the last feature race one of the season, we are going to make sure that we take very detailed scoring notes up front so that we can actually say who won before the end of the night. Yes and no, Dreisel. I think like all of the basic instincts of like separate your turn out into 3 stages when you're starting out, braking, then turning, then accelerating, and then slowly work to blend those things together as you get comfortable with the layout. Like all that stuff still applies. I think it becomes infinitely more important to catch drifts or slips of the rear early, because once the rear starts rotating, it's very difficult to arrest it coming back in, and that's one of the places where the drivers that have chosen to have their force feedback turned all the way up are at somewhat of an advantage here, because they will feel that slip happen early. Obviously, everybody's getting the same inputs from the haptic actuators at the bottom of the pods, and so they'll feel that through their asses the same way. But that extra bit of fidelity up front in the wheel is super, super important. Again, the difference is more pronounced in the street versions of the cars to maintain balance of performance considerations in GT3. Like Porsche's been inching that engine forward millimeter by millimeter, like over the last 20 years. When the RSR came out, which I believe, don't quote me, was Grand Touring endurance class. Like, it was scandalous because, like, the center of mass actually lived 1 millimeter in front of the rear axle. And they're like, what the hell is this, a mid-engine 911? They're like, no, it's just a special thing for this one car. Space Peony is also running afoul of the, hey, these are cones, no, seriously, follow the racing line. I guess that's the cost we must pay for deleting the AMG arena here. As they attempt to turn in clean laps in this qualifier. There's an open qualifier, and so they are not going to get ejected when they turn in their first clean one. I'm looking forward to bring a trailer tonight because we will get to quiz everybody on how they felt about hopping from a GT4 directly into a GT3 from the same manufacturer that's kind of constructed around the same design philosophy. It's going to be fun. And also one of those things where I'm like, shit, why am I not driving that? I should be driving. That's not how it works. I think for the sake of my sanity, we need to re-angle Drain's pod camera. I do not live in MC Escher space. Trap not yet turned in a clean one. Space Punies not yet turned in a clean one. Mickey showing relative, but obviously that's not a clean lap. And Drain not having turned in a clean one yet, but he is 2.5 seconds above his prior pace. And looks like he's keeping it between the paint. We're going to follow this one around. Buck 40. Into the big braking zone. This chicane is definitely a brake hard and take the first portion of it super wide. The goal is not entering the chicane well, the goal is exiting the chicane fast, and that means you do set up the first to support the second. I don't think they're going to give them a clean one for that. They will not. Which brings us back to Space Punies. who is now sitting on a 153, which is a valid lap. Seeing Drain with a 156 asterisk here. So his pace is okay, but he hasn't cleaned it up yet. Mateo, 35 miles an hour would definitely help make your lap clean. But one of the neat things that we can do here in this setup is we can watch our drivers like hawks while they are driving in real time. And the first thing that I can suggest that would make for cleaner laps here is more pointing into the apex with the head and eyes, which is something you can do when you're in a 3 widescreen display setup here. Our drivers here tend to be very focused on what's in front of them, and one of the most consistent pieces of feedback I've received from an instructor on the track is to get your goddamn head pointed at the apex and let the rest of your body sort the rest of it out. You kind of see Space Punies leaning his head and eyes in there on the right while he's making that turn. You got to keep the apex in sight. Three minutes left in this qualifying session. We give them a nice long practice and a nice long qualifying because this one is, of course, 4 points. One of the reasons that we like keeping the AI on the tracks for the Tuesday night is because one of the fastest way to learn a track, even if it is not necessarily the fastest lap, is to follow an AI around it and get a feel for the braking zones and how aggressive they need to be handled. Or put another way, learn the AI's line now. You'll have the luxury of disagreeing with it later when you turn in clean laps. Speaking of clean laps, Trap with a clean 201. That's going to get him qualified. Space Puni's a 151. 151.9. Mickey's got a 157.6. And Drain with a 2 flat. So everybody's got a qualifier lap out there, which is awesome. And now they're just trying to improve it for pace because this is one of those things where the starting position is going to matter. So that's a consistent thing we're going to need to clean up there, which is the too fast entry into the first section of the chicane. You really got to bite that thing off. Mickey with the fast hands arresting that pendulum-like butt. Pendulum-like butt. Can already hear the sighs of deep concentration from behind us. It's a good pass through there. Could have clipped a little bit more off the second one. And I think Trap's going to mow the lawn there, letting Mickey through. Space Puni's trying to contract that 150.9 into something smaller. Now he's going to get a chance to hit the chicane. Braking early and hard. Cutting hard. That's what we like to see. Coming around the south end and heading back in the opposite direction. past the private boxes under the M Power Bridge. Avoiding the Mercedes-Benz AMG Arena. Very nice. And that's going to be time for the qualifier, which means everybody's going to pull in and grid up, and this one matters. How's everyone feeling?
49
Well, let's take a look. There it is. Yeah, there's a 48. So my only piece of feedback here, other than the standard, please look at your apex with your head and your eyes, is that the second half of the chicane is always more important than the first half of the chicane. Like, you got to go slow to go fast.
That sounds like big second half of the chicane talk.
Yeah. Brought to you by Exit Speed on Long Straight.
Team entry speed. Fast in, slow out.
Don't forget your PTT button, buddy. We'd love to hear you on the big screen.
Me? Who, me?
Yeah.
There we are.
Push to talk works great when you're going straight.
Yeah, curves, not so much.
I think for next season we're gonna open it back up to open mic, but just turn the gain filters way up. There ain't nothing like trying to find the push to talk button while you're rowing a manual.
Just like mid-turn, fully crossed up.
Yeah. It's like, oh, I wanted to
Especially,
say
yeah, you got
something
the
here.
6
What
speed.
was it?
15 Newton meter, like all the way over.
Trap, you may need to push the button. I think it's giving the it's
Ready to race,
giving
yep.
the AI quite the difference there.
Jimmy Van Veen is going to be untouchable.
Yeah.
I might have it down to Angela, but that's cutting it close.
The director of sales at iRacing. Good luck, buddy. I've seen her in a
Yeah.
McLaren.
The spin sister.
The one AI that all drivers fear. Good luck, racers. This one's for points.
Oh, the last one wasn't for points. Ah.
That I took pole on a race that didn't matter energy.
Classic.
There's the packy in the turn one. We're going to watch from back here because... Oh, that's actually pretty drama-free. All right, well, it's a drama light GT3 run. The real through line here being can Mickey and Drain hold their shit together, because that's the race here.
Don't lift.
Space Beauty's on the straight in traffic. Try not to get crossed up in that braking zone. It's going to make the right-hand sweep. Gets on it right about the same time. Eric
I don't
Hudak.
think the AI races their own race. They race to ruin your race.
Well, I've got good news for you, buddy. Did you catch the part about teaming up with Microsoft to improve the AI? The people who brought us the Forza Racing Drivatars?
Phenomenal.
It's a lot of words to say get fucked. That's Mickey right on Drain's tail there, coming into the straight. riding that red line. Nice aggressive entry into that chicane. Comes out with the hammer down. Looks like he might have lost a quarter second there. Drain fast on the recovery. Still in contention. Looks like he's about 3 seconds off Mickey now. Space Puny's in position 8, now behind Angela. Doesn't quite have the pull away. Some feelings are being expressed. Through the chicane in traffic. Pulls it out and doesn't get the tap on the butt I was expecting. Excellent. Only
AI on AI violence is always appreciated.
Only 7 more to go.
Oh, that was Angela. That's why.
Oh, Angela.
Trap out on the straight, bringing us in. Last turning in a 206. Now turning in a 201. Big improvement. Space Puny's now hunting for David Carrillo. In the through line of the night, Mickey out in open traffic, and Drain looks like he is maybe 2.7 seconds behind. That's what the numbers are saying. It's about a turn behind. Definitely recoverable. The key is to not give in to the red mist of the chase. Turning clean laps. Very nice through there, buck 20, buck 30. When you're on the chase like this, letting your engine bounce off the rev limiter is fractions of seconds. Who's got drama? No one's got drama. With the drama subsiding, the racers will settle down into the battle with themselves. Drain out into the straight in hot pursuit of Mickey. 3-second gap. Now turning in a 157. His times are coming down. Reeling him in. Going to be a lot of braking later and harder to get it done. If there was any car that would let you brake late and live, this is the one. But getting back off of it and managing that weight transfer becomes critical. We heard some pod shaking drama back there, but we are going to ignore it for the moment because this is where the through line is. I know that personally I am at my absolute worst when there's someone hot on my butt with the pace to take me. Good move through that chicane. Gets on it nice. Better line, just needs to take nice and gentle through here. Bring the hammer down. Good exit, using all the track. Other than bouncing off the rev limiter, that was the one. Oh, gets lost in the visual. But that may work out in his favor on this exit. This is what I mean about the rear view. You think that looks really close, right? This is what it looks like from Mickey's perspective. There's barely headlights out there. Space Puny's in position 9. Trying to bring it back in. We're going to go back to the drama. Recoverable. This is why we play with damage off. That would have been a send the car home if we had damage turned on. Still achievable. There's a subtle balance to be fought for between race clean and get aggressive. And in a 20-minute race format in a serial like this, it's definitely, you can't just punt people. I mean, you could, but I personally don't think that would be entertaining racing. As long as we stay inside our little box, iRacing Minders won't get us. Drain making the time back up. He's got the pace. I know Finch. This chicane, again, an example of you gotta go wide and come in hard, or you were blown for this section right here. Mickey turned in a 1:58 last lap. Drain a 2 even. They are definitely similarly matched here in skill and in this car. They just have to execute. Space Puny still hunting for David Carrillo. Almost pulls up into him. David also bottled up by the car in front of him. Trap out in the clear air. Trap's best turned in a 1:58.7, which is a 2-second improvement. All right. Drain needs a differential of 2 league points to tie and 3 league points to take second place in the league. So to pull it off, he needs 1 position in both races and the challenge point. Getting real precise about that shift timing. but left to go way wide on the entry. Can he bring it back around in time? It's one of the real hard things to do in racing when you've got that other car right in front of you. It may look like they're going slow, going around and going wide, but they're actually doing the thing that's going to bring them out the other side faster. That's just not a turn where you can JK lull dive inside and expect to get away with it. Seven minutes left on the clock. That's it. That's the pace right there. He just has to not blow the braking zone.
Get at it.
Oh, both of them eat it. But Drain at least gets away moving in the correct direction, so that's going to be the big overtake of the race. Now he needs to hold on to it. Space Punies still hunting Dave Carrillo. Trap out in clean air just turned to 158.371. Very nice. The GT3 becoming compliant under him. Mickey now sorted out and back in the correct direction. With, I'm going to guess, 5-ish minutes left here, he's going to need to execute hard. You can barely see Drain at the end of the straight there, beginning his right-hander in here. Drain, of course, now with the luxury to go wide and take this, okay, perhaps too wide. The hunt for David Carrillo. Space Puny's best, a 151, which is quick, turning in a pace of about 153. I shiver to think about what the people in front of him are turning in. As the cars get faster, the AI's advantage gets larger. Excellent turn in there, gets on it early. Nice drift.
Not facing the right way, though.
They gave you your own flag, though.
That's new. I yellow flagged myself.
Checking in on Mickey's pace. The time predictor saying this is going to be about a 155. We'll see about that. Still needs to take that wider in the first section. Drain up ahead, turning in a 157. His best down to 154.4 now. The drivers are starting to compress their times. Cuts in deep, very nice, but doesn't get it back around quite fast enough. It's all about visually seeing that apex, pointing towards it. Not 100% certain what happened here, but we're seeing that Angela's now in front of Space Punies. Well, that can't be right. Angela's in the white GT3. Unless someone executed a car swap here. Space Punies holding consistently a 150, a 151 pace. Here another 150. 2 minutes, 58 seconds on the clock. He's got nothing to prove here at this point, so he is probably going to minimize the possibility of a DNF and hold pace. Mickey's about 9 seconds out of drain. Trap with a little shake and a shimmy, but he pulls it out. Drain in the clean air, cutting in but not hard enough. So when Conan gets around to running his Turn Academy content that he's been teasing, I think Turn 1 at Nürburgring would be, or I guess Turn 2 and 3 technically. Turns 2 and 3 at Nürburgring would be an excellent curriculum. Space Punies manages to turn on his windshield wiper. It's just anything we need to know back there?
I guess I found a windshield wiper button. That was confusing.
That's the line we want to see through there, right back on the left. .48 seconds on the clock. White flag out. Drain on his last lap. 3.1 second gap. Now at a 10-second gap. Space Punies across the line. It's a trap across the line. Oh no! Slightly overcooked.
Angela held me off. Dang.
Drain sailing through into the last chicane. Excellent line through the chicane. Excellent pace. Space Punies hold that right there. I'm gonna wow. Yeah, okay. Those are some quick laps. All right. Space Punies in first for the group, followed by Drain, followed by Mickey, followed by It's a Trap. Drivers pulling into the pits for a quiet end to their session. Drain out there on his parade lap. You know, we pay for that gasoline. All right. Congratulations, racers. That was an excellent race. We will talk all about it here in just a second. Because it is now time to move on to one of my favorite segments, the Bring a Trailer Challenge, which, for those of you not familiar, our drivers are challenged to pick the higher closing auction of real live Bring a Trailer auctions that closed within the last 24 hours and were not obvious scams. And for that, we are going to need to summon Drain.
Rain. All right.
Drain, you're up first. Drain,
Hello.
how you doing?
Good, I think. It's hard to tell who. It's hard to tell who you've passed because the numbers on the car don't match the seats, and so I think one person is somebody else, and I'm like, if it's 1 through 4, I know it's a human. So
I note that you are still wearing your driving gloves. Is it helping?
I think so, yeah. Well, I'm more concerned about your fancy wheels. I don't want to get them all sweaty.
Oh, no, I appreciate that. So you pulled off the overtake you needed to pull there.
Oh, good. So car 2 was actually pod 3.
Yes.
Okay, good. Sweet.
You pulled off the overtake you needed, so that's going to put you 1 point up on Mickey this race.
Still, anybody's
but
game.
to actually take the position, you need 3 points,
Yeah.
which means not only do you need to place above him in the next race,
I need this
you need
challenge.
this right here,
Yes.
right now. This is what it all comes down to. And as always, I assure you
This is not a targeted
that
bring a trailer.
that after the 4 challenges were developed, the order of drivers was randomized.
Okay. I do believe you.
Your cars tonight are a 1990 Corvette ZR1, which is the top trim level for the B.A.T and has been for some time. It goes from the Club Sport or the regular, I guess they're calling it a Stingray now, to the Z06 and then to the ZR1. And I guess technically there's such a thing as a ZR1 Sledgehammer, but in this era, the ZR1 is basically the top thing that you can buy. And that is being matched up against a 73 Corvette 454 4-speed, obviously from a prior generation. So the cars, the ZR1 was initially delivered to New Car Chevrolet in Delaware. It spent time in several states before it was acquired by the selling dealer in 2004. It's indicating, quote unquote, 35,000 miles. I don't recall how many digits that odometer has, and they're not saying here. Power is provided by the 5.4 liter LT5 V8 paired with a ZF 6-speed manual, and there weren't a whole lot of 6-speed manuals floating around in the 90s. This combination of engine and transmission put the ZR1 to a staggering 4.5 second 60 launch in the early 90s. That's supercar territory at that time. That's Testarossa time or numbers there. Big ol' staggered wheels, power adjustable sport bucket seats. Appointments include cruise control, onboard computer, tire pressure warning system. I believe that this is the V.A.T that has the horizontal bar speedometer, like you're watching Knight Rider or something.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
pretty cool.
My Scout had that.
Selective ride and handling package. When new, this engine produced 375 horsepower and 370 foot-pounds of torque. So coming out of the anemic era of the 80s and late 70s. Work performed within the last 2 years includes replacing the fuel pump, coolant overflow tank, fuel filter, fuel level sending unit, and oxygen sensors. Carfax shows no accidents or other damage. However, it has received reports from Delaware, New Jersey, Ohio, Michigan, Florida, Illinois, Indiana, Arizona, and New Mexico. I get the impression this ZR1 has done the numbers with a lot of people.
Yeah.
The 73 V.A.T shows 12K on its odometer, but we know that it's a 5-digit odometer, so it is strongly presumed that it's been rolled. Purchased in August 21 by the seller, who spent the next 3 years, quote-unquote, refreshing the car. Work included rebuilding the rear axle, front-end suspension components, power steering gearbox, and carburetor, as well as replacing the AC compressor, master brake cylinder, power steering coupler, and various other internal components. This is a 454-liter LS4 V8 paired to a 4-speed manual transmission that goes clack, 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 for the record. It's a dark blue metallic over medium saddle leather. But then said to be refinished in Corvette Dark Blue Metallic in 2012. We're not sure what the original color was. The windshield washer does not work.
Ooh.
Front suspension components were said to have been refurbished, and the upper control arm shafts, ball joints, tie rods, and idler arm were replaced by the current owner. Brake master cylinder and front brake rotors and pads are also said to have been replaced.
Okay.
So this is a 454 LS4 V8 4-barrel carb, factory rated at 275 horsepower, so less than the ZR1, but 395 foot-pounds of torque. So it's a bit of a screamer when the rear wheels finally connect. Carburetor was rebuilt. The heater was recored. The vacuum lines were replaced.
That's a lot of work.
Neither of them are spring chickens, and both of them have had fairly substantial work done.
That's what year was the split rear window Corvettes? Those were the 60s, right?
Yeah, so prior generation to the 73 there.
Okay. I gotta go with the 73. The number of different states the 1990's been in makes me really nervous. So
Before I show you, I will tell you that I think that Corvette is the prettiest body they ever made.
the one on the right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that the 73 Vets, like that generation of Vet, in my mind, is the quintessential Corvette. For the record, Mateo also says the 73. Drain,
Steve Gray, if you're watching, I love your 66 anyway, but this one's really pretty too.
$1,750. Drain with a challenge point, which means all you need to do now is win a race.
No, yeah, that all I need to do.
All you need to do now is win the second race. Thank you, Drain.
Yep.
Bring me. It's a trap. He did it.
He did it.
He did it.
Yeah. He's
Which means the next race is actually a
Yeah.
real fucking race.
yeah.
I'm excited.
It's
Hey,
great.
guess what I brought you?
Some trailers. Oh, look, it's a Porsche.
This one's my personal favorite one. Up is a 354-mile example of the GT3 RS. That was, at the time, the highest trim package they make on the 911 full stop. Since then, the GT2 RS has also become a thing. But the ultimate expression of street legal track car that Porsche made, and indeed sourced from the components of the Cup car from the prior year. So very similar to what you just drove in many ways. It is compared with the 718 Cayman GT4 RS Weissach,
Oh,
which
wow.
is the street legal version of what you drove in the first race tonight. And so you are looking in very real terms of comparing the last two cars you drove, except for real. And Mateo, yes, I think that purple is the second best color Porsche has ever applied to a GT3. The first being Ruby Star Metallic. Don't at me. You won't win. So, some details here. The GT3 has 354 miles on it. There we go. It's a 4-liter flat 6 compared to the 7-speed PDK dual clutch transmission. So the GT3s, unless they're a touring edition, only get the PDK because it's faster. That wasn't true 20 years ago, but now the dual clutches are much faster. Has all the things. So it's got the Sport Chrono package and the LED headlights, the PDLS and the ceramic brakes. Rear spoiler, carbon fiber full bucket seats, which for the record are not cool for big guys like me. I do prefer the normal adaptives in the GT3. Purchased by the seller in 2022 and is now offered at no reserve with all of the trimmings and a clean, accident-free Carfax in Pennsylvania, which is not a state I would want to drive a GT3 in under any circumstances.
Probably why it's not been driven.
Track focus variant, etc., ultraviolet, carbon fiber buckets, a 225 mile an hour speedometer, which is a little bit aspirational. This thing's going to do a $198 at full clip, which is actually less than the non-RS variant because it's producing all that downforce, which is a drag at its top speed. 500 horsepower from the factory, 338 foot-pounds of torque, which is the creme de la creme of what they do here. As compared with the Cayman GT4, the car that they said they would not make because it is effectively the engine of the GT3 in a Cayman, which the 911 people were not happy that a down trim vehicle was produced with the same power and put it over the middle as opposed to the rear axle here. So again, 4-liter flat 6, same engine, made it to a 7-speed PDK, same transmission, ceramic brakes. This is the satin indigo blue, finished with 20 center lock wheels. This was listed on Bring a Trailer in April of 23 and again in November of 24, and it is now offered finally again in Maryland with a window sticker, spare seat insert, 2 keys, the manufacturer's lit, clean Carfax, and a Virginia title. Since this is the GT4 RS Weissach edition, lots of the glass has been lightened up or single paned. The front fenders have been vented. The headlights are by Xenon. It's got a full set of Expel clear paint protection film applied to the hood, front fenders, and side mirrors. Speaking as someone who had Expel on his GT3, it is not proof against rocks in the Pacific Northwest, or indeed in Northern California. The cockpit features, and you'll love this, a medium 3D printed body form full bucket driver seat.
A custom seat.
Which I guarantee you wasn't built to fit you. It was built to fit whoever bought this thing originally. Although we're told that it does come with standard seat inserts that you can swap back in. Back to the point of Porsche detuning their best product. Factory rated only 493 horsepower, not 500, and 331 foot-pounds, not 334, because you cannot have a Cayman that is as powerful as a 911.
Right.
So, now you have to decide which one of these went for more money.
Yeah. So the car on the right is weird because like the Cayman is weird. It's relatively recent, but it's swapped owners a couple times.
No, it looks like they tried to sell it a couple times and weren't able to pull it off, which usually means they did not get the price that they were looking for. And you can see there's a lack of a little no reserve lozenge popping out at the top of my blackout there, which means that there was definitely a price they were trying to hit.
Interesting. I mean, the vibes are with the GT3, so I think I'm going to go with the GT3.
All right, I've logged your answer as the GT3. Does chat or anyone else want to weigh in here? Twindigo says the Weissach. Rella on Team 911 over here. Rella, let me tell you why it's good to be on Team 911.
And there it is.
25 grand. 25 grand with a 7-year difference. But the reality is, the GT3 is the hottest thing in sports cars, full stop. And even Porsche's artificially inferior engineered cousin products cannot hold a candle to it. What can you say? That's how they do you. That's a point for Trav.
Woo.
I would be thrilled to have either of these. Although having owned both a Cayman and a 911, the Cayman, like there is literally no room. Your seat is up against the rear firewall, and like you feel every inch of that. The 911 at least gives you the token. In theory, you can put your luggage or your grocery bag behind the seat here, which quote unquote makes it more livable. The 911's a more livable car. All right, let's go.
All right,
bring me Space Punies.
Will do.
Twindigo, you have also sat in both the Cayman and the 911. There's just no difference in the amount of interior space, or a huge difference in the amount of interior space. Space Punies,
Yeah.
you are our most experienced driver,
Yes.
and you just drove a GT4 and a GT3 from the same manufacturer back to back.
Yes.
What do you think?
GT4 was way more controllable than the GT3, but the GT3 I think has traction control and ABS settings, and I wasn't sure where to find those. So I feel like if I could have dialed those in, I would have felt better with on the brakes.
We've got those tuned up on the wheels.
Oh, is it the two twisties up
Yeah.
top?
Well, so
Shoot.
the right one I think
Okay.
is brake balance, but
Oh, okay.
we don't go into all of that because we try to reduce complexity for
Twisty
the
knobs
drivers.
on the bottom.
Oh, sorry. The bottom twisty knobs.
Okay.
Showed, of course, the steering wheel programmer for the show.
Yes.
I've got some cars for you.
Okay.
This is apparently Mara's doing tonight only cars he's owned. This is the 2004 BMW 330i ZHP package. The ZHP package is the model code for that year of BMW for their performance pack. It raises the horsepower from 225 to 235 on the inline six, adds those killer double spoke wheels, and turns the eyeliner of the indicators up instead of down, which I always thought was much more attractive. It also has a custom valence there. It is compared tonight with the 2015 BMW 335i xDrive 6-speed, which is the immediately following generation of the 3 Series, and the move from the naturally aspirated inline 6
Yeah.
to a turbocharged. And like the big deal
Was
at
that
the
one
time-
twin turboed? Or
yeah.
Okay.
Twin turbo and 300 foot-pound, 300 horsepower even.
Yeah.
And so like the big thing was like, yeah, we liked the previous one, but this one has more usable torque. Mateo asks, where does this sit on the M series or in the M series? Mateo, back at that time when BMW's lineup was infinitely more understandable than it was today, there was the 325 and the 330, which were both naturally aspirated inline sixes, and then this sitting like just a smidgen higher than the 330, and then the M3, and that was it. Like those were the 3 offerings. All right, so the 330 ZHP has 78,000 miles on it. It was registered in Texas and Arizona before being acquired by the seller. It now has 78,000, as we said. 3-liter inline 6 paired to an unfortunately 5-speed automatic. This car was great on the 6-speed manual. It's got the ZHP performance package, which we already talked about, all the stuff in there. Carfax is clean, silver gray metallic on the paint, black shadowline trim everywhere. Cabin features sport seats in black Montana leather. Alcantara wrapped M Sport steering wheel, and that is the absolute worst thing you can wrap a steering wheel with, as far as I'm concerned, because Alcantara cannot hold its oil. 155 mile an hour speedo, which it can reach. 6,800 RPM redline, which is 100 more than the non-ZHP.
It's 100 more.
100 more. And produces 235 horse and 222 foot-pounds in this configuration. Obviously rear-wheel drive. The 335xi, on the other hand, is the all-wheel drive model of that 3 Series, because the X has 103,000 miles and is, of course, powered by the turbocharged 3-liter inline 6. Jet black over Dakota leather with red headlight inserts. Don't know what that means.
What?
I don't see them. Just telling you what it's telling me here on the sheet. See here, was purchased in 2018 by the seller, who has since added 88,000 of the 100,000 miles on it.
Oh.
So previous seller really liked driving this car. Offered with service records, clean Carfax, New Jersey title in the seller's name. 18-inch wheels, heated power everything, anthracite wood trim in pearl gloss chrome highlight, which is kind of nice. 7K red line. 300 horse, 300 foot-pound, and of course all-wheel drive. Recent work included replacing the valve cover and the oil pan gasket, repairing the coolant overflow reservoir, flushing the coolant, and performing an oil change, which is considerably less than the problems I had with my 330i, which dropped a cylinder in the middle of a run to an airport.
All those have the same chime sound to them.
It was somewhat problematic. So you got to tell me,
Okay.
For admittedly a challenge point that doesn't matter a whole lot here, but your
It
honor,
matters.
Your honor is on the line.
Yeah. Mostly because I can break my losing streak on this, because now I got a problem where I want to bet against myself. So what I want to say is that 335 would have gone for more. But now that I've said that, I bet the 330 now on my track record, the ZHP is going to be the one that goes for more. But it's automatic, which is no. I hate that. I want the 335 to be more because I like it better.
I think you're right.
Yeah, I'm going to go with that.
Let's hit the button. Rella says the
But,
335.
But six-figure mileage. Who knows? Okay, no.
By $50. $50.
I am leaving. I am out of here.
This is not your season, man.
No, it's not. $50.
So I think there's a couple things happening here.
Okay.
The first is
Mileage, I bet.
the first is definitely mileage. The second is like this is the first. The 335 is the first of the new 3 Series that carries Chris Bangle's styling cues here.
Oh, you gonna put this on Bangle?
Yeah, I'm gonna put
Yeah,
this
you're
on
gonna put it
Bangle.
on Bangle, of course.
Bangle ruined the
Yeah.
brand, man.
Ah,
Bangle ended everything that was good about
punch
BMW.
him in the kidneys. All right.
Nice try.
Okay.
You know who to bring me. I think this might be my streakiest streak. It's a good thing he doesn't need the points. Mickey, how was your race?
That's a tough car. It doesn't give you a whole lot of warning before it goes from like totally fine to just into a wall.
It will bite you pretty hard. But that's not what's important. What's important is that Drain got a challenge point,
I saw, yes.
which means
I have to get
you
this
need a
challenge.
challenge point.
Yeah.
And so, here is what you have to work with. 4 15-inch Fuchs wheels from, I want to say, basically every 70s 911. And the rear deck lid from a 911 Turbo.
Okay.
Hold on, I've got some details here. This is the straw that you drew. The wheels are wheels. They're offered at no reserve in Santa Barbara, California. They have serial numbers. They have part numbers. They were said to be refinished in the mid '80s, which is why they are so shiny. But otherwise, they are 3 1972 era 911 wheels. The deck lid was taken off an 87 Carrera. It's finished in white. It has a black louvered grille. The Porsche branding is apparent from behind, but you can't see it here. It's part number 935-112.02300, which is displayed on the underside. That is the entire show.
Okay. I feel like if you need the deck lid, you like need the deck lid. You know, it's gonna like the wheels aren't super hard to come by.
The wheels aren't super hard to come by, and they are reproduced by no fewer than 5 different manufacturers.
Yeah, and you said they've been redone or refurbished.
They
at
appear to
some
have been
point.
refurbished.
Okay. Yeah, let's go for the deck lid. Porsche people are nuts. I feel like that could be a lot of money.
That is the through line of everything we have said here this season. And so the answer is you will also be taking a challenge point.
4.5, really?
Your logic was perfect right out of the gate, which is where the fuck else are you gonna get a deck lid if you need a deck lid?
Yeah. Oh, that's still so much money. Wow.
It's still a lot of money. Mickey, you pulled it off.
I'm ahead by 1 point, is it now?
So you were ahead by 2, and Drain brought that down to 1, but you both just went even on the challenge. So Drain is in fact up by 1, or you're in fact up by 1.
Okay.
Which means if you hold pace here, you've got second. But
right.
that's a time that we will talk about shortly. Let's go flash the lights, and you can go ahead and go to your pod. Thanks for playing. And we will begin the entry into Feature Race 2. Is it harder when the stress is on? Is it harder when it matters?
It always matters.
I love that attitude. It always matters. Look at this guy.
Every turn is its own race.
Oh my goodness. Let's do this thing. All right. I'm gonna press a button here, and it's gonna do this. Our final car for the night is a banger. It is the Porsche 963, which is a prototype built to race in Grand Touring prototype and hypercar classes of the World Endurance Championship. The 963 has been sweeping the podiums in 2024 with its twin turbocharged hybrid V8 pushing 671 horsepower in a package that weighs about 2,200 pounds and looks like a fish. It's a lot. Just how much our drivers are about to find out.
I mean, this has the endurance car look, and guess what? We're taking the 963 to one of the only places it can actually stretch its legs. The legendary Circuit de 24 Heures du Mans, otherwise known as the, it's basically, it's Le Mans.
I'd like to compliment your pronunciation, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, that's what education in the French language will get you. Anyway, with the longest straight in motorsports, this is a track that tests the top speed ability of any car known to man, and parenthetically, its ability to move safely at that speed. The modern layout of Le Mans has 2 chicanes built into the straight to keep those speeds lower, because so many people literally flipped their cars and died at speed over the years.
Check YouTube.
Yeesh. Fortunately for us, that's not a realistic outcome. We have damage turned off, yes?
That sounds so fun for you. Go race.
All right.
I didn't know Trap spoke French. Did anyone else know Trap spoke French? All right. Let's get some quads up here. Trap, of course, having the disadvantage of being co-host, and therefore he gets to session in last.
Ooh, these are tough steering.
Space Punies noticing that a lot of force required to make the steering wheel do steering wheel things. Space Punies will be the first out on the Mulsanne Straight. Exiting the final curve, and it's smooth sailing from here all the way to the first chicane. 188, 190.
7 speeds.
It is, in fact, a 7-speed. Space Punies almost doesn't crack 200 before hitting the first chicane and deciding that he should probably turn. They are not joking. You must turn. Picking it right back up again, already doing 140 miles an hour. We are getting aggressive pod rattle out of pod 2 here because the zip tie that I stuck between the bananas has fallen out, I think. We'll do a tech deep dive on what that means sometime. While they're driving, I'm going to go double check and make sure everything's okay over there.
This car's not too bad to turn, but it definitely wants to go straight.
feel like I'm in a tank.
Probably not the same protective.
Oh,
casings.
this car will fishtail if you're not careful.
Well, they say I cut the cord.
All right. We always do a safety check on our pods when we get rattled, and it's important to know if the rattle is because something has actually come loose under heavy actuation, or it's just two pieces of metal that happen to be within proximity of each other, and the high speed oscillation and vibration is causing them to rattle. In this particular case, it is the rear seat bracket, which is right inside the rear left actuator's field of travel. It's getting vibrated into. It's when we tear these all down and rebuild them for season 2, there's lots of places where we're going to add a little bit of sound dampening material just to prevent stuff like that. So not a safety issue. We cleaned all of that up back in R&D with Nordlocks and other techniques, but obviously every time I hear one of those rattles, I'm like, oh shit. And with that said, Trap, bring him in because it's time to drive for real.
All right, here we go.
I think that's the first time I've ever seen a Le Mans car spin out on that straight and come out facing the correct direction and alive. Good luck qualifying.
Enjoy your one lap.
And they are out for their qualifier. Space Punies points out that's like one lap. It's more like two. Let's be realistic here. Found that the zip tie is an effective mechanism of dampening. Look at Mickey in hot pursuit coming up to the chicane. One of the crazy things about the 963 is you think you can't stop. Oh no, it will. But then when you get back on it, you need to be very, very gentle. Drain at a $180. Coming down the hill. $190, shifting into 7th. And then needs to meet the requirements of the second chicane. Hopefully getting on it gingerly. Ooh, almost lost it there. Space Puni's coming up to his first chicane. Or no, I'm sorry, no, he's passed both chicanes and he's about to make the right-hander back. Well, maybe he isn't going to make the right-hander back out. It's optional. These are real roads that real people drive on when it's not doing this. Trap also in the sand. Is everybody in the sand? Okay, people are pulling back out here. It is amazing in the 963 how quickly you are north of 150 miles an hour again.
That is an insane turn.
196. Haven't seen anybody crack 200 yet in pursuit of that straight. It's all about your entry into it. Mateo, I didn't see your fidget spinner lunchroom tray joke earlier, and I apologize. I would have had a hearty chuckle at the time. Space Puny trusting his brakes and moving on. These cars are so low and so flat, they really don't reward you for rolling over the curbs all that much. They do, on the other hand, reward you for getting on the brakes earlier. The double chicane at the front straight. They are hunting for clean laps. Trap about a minute in on his next attempt. Space Puny's a minute 23 in on his. Mickey in the relative display, so no lap times here. And Drain a minute 30 into his, so no clean laps yet. Just going to leave them with a bunch of AIs in front of them on the start, which, frankly, given how powerful these cars are, probably isn't the worst of all outcomes here. The qualifying positions of Drain and Drain and Mickey, of course, being particularly important because that is our second place contention point. Drain having closed the gap by 1 in Feature Race 1, but both of them coming even in the challenge means that this is now a 1-point season for second. But of course, given our point structure and the likelihood of Space Punies being out in front, likelihood but not guaranteed, that means they will likely be separated by a 1-point gap, which of course would tie them. And then we'll have to figure out what we want to do about that.
Oh, this is ruthless if you mess up your lap.
Still not seeing any clean laps on the scoreboard. It's a lot of car. Space Beauty's coming out of the chicanes. Place to slow the drivers down such that the grandstands actually have something to look at. Still not a clean lap. 1 minute 50 left on the qualifier. No clean laps to be seen. Some Type 3 fun back here. Again, surprise, you're doing 120. $30. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. Let's see how long we can go. Drain hitting 190. Will he hit 200 before he breaks? Nope. Very nice entry through here. Doesn't get on it too hard. Excellent exit. There you go. It's all area under the curve for him on the second straight now. Not sure what's going on behind him. AI. AI finally gets around. 2 seconds on the clock, and Space Beauties is going to take a nap in the sand. Were you tired? Excuse me. Were you tired?
I didn't get any lap time in.
I don't think anybody pulled a clean lap. I think you're all starting from the bleachers.
Backpackers.
Yup.
They need to implement
pretty
a
clean
first-person shooter engine so you can have a real Le Mans start.
Run out to your car.
Run out to your car.
Yeah.
We like before we settled on the season format, we thought about doing that here, where everyone starts in the green room and they have to race to their pods. And
It's your hardware.
I was gonna say, and that's where the track protectors on the floor came from, and the and the lighting. This, of course, part of the Porsche legend and why the key is on the left side of the steering wheel.
Do I have to hit next, or
You might have to.
Okay. I guess it's already finishing. People have to advance manually because if you didn't turn in a time, it's like you could still turn in a time.
Well, there you go. That's where you all live. Back there with Ben and Sean. Ben, otherwise known as Double Aught.
We're putting in 323.
It's their own race.
Oh, no, wait, hold
Drain,
on.
you actually- you
Drain's
got
got a
lap
real
in.
time.
Yeah.
Drain's got a real time.
Yeah.
That means Drain's going to be at the head of the drama parade.
Yeah.
Look at that.
I don't know. I was That's how it was in NASCAR, and that didn't work out for me.
And all you had to do to get it was be 20 seconds slower than the AI.
Is everybody?
It's
I'm
in wait mode, so I think the correct thing is happening.
2:35 left.
Oh, is it doing that weird we're gonna run the clock out thing that it does sometimes?
Yeah.
I am displeased. Well, what are you gonna do?
Thanks, iRacing.
It has all of the lovable characteristics of a continuously developed piece of software from 2008 in Visual C++ on Windows. This is from the era long before UE5 and Unity, or even Godot if we're talking modern. Predictions.
Hell no.
We have a note here from Finch, which is, I vote Drain needs a marching band hat to lead the drama parade. Drain,
Wow.
did you bring
Thanks, Finch.
a marching band hat?
I brought 0 hats.
You know, if you're not going to pack them up with the right gear, Finch, then like he can't wear it here. If you want him to eat a bagged lunch, you got to pack him a bagged lunch.
Oh, we got a grid button.
Oh,
We
it's
have
happening.
grid.
Everything's happening.
It is happening.
Bring on the trumpets. I guess we are sitting directly under Twindigo's wall of hats upstairs. Good luck, racers. By which I also mean the people who have not gridded in yet. Waiting for the green. Little bit of wheel spin, but
Please don't black
surprisingly
flag me.
little drama. Ooh. Everybody clustering into the first real turn there. A little bit of polite, gentle contact. It's like everybody got away with their skins intact. Obviously, with damage turned on and in real life, those micro collisions probably would have been automatic mandatory pits because of how important aerodynamic smoothness is through this next section. Space Puny's getting a big old pile of drain in front of him. This is a pretty good view to watch this from. Buck 90 through the first half of the straight. Mateo, it's dry, and the reason for that is twofold. The first is that, I'm hearing lots of things happening back there. The first is that iRacing only very recently implemented rain and rain tires, and as a result of that, because of how detailed their tire model is, only certain cars actually have that enabled right now, as do certain tracks. And so kind of like new cars that would support it are coming out with it. New tracks that could support it are coming out with it, but the entire back catalog has not been filled. And of course, that'd be a pretty savage thing to do to our racers on the final race of the season, even if it was possible, which I'm not asserting it is. A lot of stuff
I fully
happening
blew
here.
that chicane.
I wouldn't say you blew the chicane. I'd say you considered it optional.
Yeah.
You were given the choice, and you decided to decline.
Right, his turn.
Trap doing a little wall decoration.
Yeah, I haven't respected that right-hander every single lap.
Drain
Well, you only
holding
see it once every
on.
like 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's too long for my baby brain.
Not optimally positioned to come through there. It's always better to be too slow on the entrance than too fast. Of course, the split second that they have to decide about that braking zone is pretty savage considering how fast it all transpires.
That turn can also not be taken that fast.
The real position we're, of course, watching here is the Mickey Drain conflict.
It's alright.
Drain in position 19, chasing Nick Bailey, the AI. Space Punies hot on his heels. It's a creative line through there. And there we have Space Punies coming right in on top of Drain. Drain's got the position he needs, but now he needs to hold on to it for 15 actual minutes, which probably means counterintuitively slowing down
I heard you, announcer.
and letting things happen naturally. Crossing 190 in the first half of the straight. Lion wants him to stay left and wide, but he thinks he's going to dive in here. Nope, he goes back out at the last minute. Just a hair faster on the exit. But eats some road
I'll be
marbles on the
over
way
there.
around. This is a good reason why learning the actual braking markers that are physically in place on the side of the road is important, as opposed to relying on the racing line. When you are immediately behind the car in front of you, the racing line does not give you enough time to react to the actual braking zone. For the humans, it's now 1-2 Space Punies Drain. Good exit through there. Slamming those gears out. The lap timing display has not updated here yet, so we're not 100% certain who Space Punies is in pursuit of. He has to take an extra chunk out of the brakes there to fix that mid-chicane. S's, the S's. And the second chicane. Space Puny's now a distant dot at the end of the straight. And Mickey closing in on his target. Out of deference to our drivers' competition here, we will not be saying their names for the next couple of sections.
Fun playing 200-mile-per-hour chicken.
Chicken with the chicane.
Yeah, to try and get 200 before the chicane.
I got it once. I feel like it's doable if you come into the straight fast enough.
I refuse to learn that my past actions influence my present situation.
There is a lot of very fast driving going on here. Still on the hunt. Oh no. Oh no. An unfortunate change of fortune. But 9 minutes left on the clock, recoverable. But now they need to execute. They're not getting the hand of those S's back there, or the hang rather. But they're still turning in fast laps, so who could say?
Yeah, there's no hope of catching the AI.
On the hunt, and with 8 minutes left, still within striking distance. That's only a 4-second gap. Nice and quick through there. He's going to enter the straight at 110. We'll let the chicanes play out. Let's check in on trap. Speaking of chicanes, coming into the left-handers. Needs to stay outside for longer.
Slow down. You got a penalty for cutting the course.
Through the grandstands. Giving the crowd a show. A little late on the brakes there. And the beach day as a result.
You'll have to slow down and give up the time going.
Did it just go bad? Or is it nighttime?
happened?
Everything's just sort of flipped, light-wise.
That's no, I'm not seeing that. So maybe it's something with your machine.
I had it too, and it got a little glitchy for a
I
second.
thought it too.
Unknown technical glitch on the racetrack.
All the guardrails turned white.
Yeah, like a TOD.
Uh-oh. That may cost Mickey some time. And the lead flips again. Just a whole lot of general allergy here to braking in time through these sections.
Hey, it's a lot of pressure, man.
A lot of pressure, he says.
You're pulling away from the car behind. The gap is 7.3 seconds.
Space Punies rocketing out of the grandstands into the early S's. And it changes hands again.
Give up that time.
One of the AIs must have pitted.
Mickey going super wide, almost having a beach day. Drain's got the pace, but it's not a safe pass. And that brings us to wheel to wheel in GTP. Minutes on the clock. Drain a little bit faster on the gas. Picks up about 50 feet. Twindigo, we're trying very hard not to distract the drivers at 180. Space Punies out in the front S's. With 54 seconds left on the clock. We have received the white flag, which means this is the last lap. Mickey overcooking in haste and taking a black flag there. Drain's going to get the overtake. And the second place lead changes hands again for the 5th time. And we continue the hunt from a different screen. Sixth time. No one capable of making that left-hander. It's impossible. And there goes Kipling Mouse. Mickey, a distant pair of taillights. Mickey under the Porsche sign. And Drain approaching. And that will be Space Punies bringing it home for Human Team up front.
AIs are too fast on that.
Mickey taking a creative line to the finish. And it almost cost him, but not quite. Not quite.
Alright, let's check a flag. Better schedule some testing. We'll get them next time.
And that, I believe, brings us to the end of this ridiculous race and also this ridiculous season. And I promised everybody that I would do I would actually do the scores in real time. So let's go find the actual deck and run it back. There we go. So that is going to be 2 first-placed finishes for Space Punies
Wow, yeah.
at 5 points each. No challenge points.
No challenge.
No
points.
challenge points assigned
Didn't even need them.
for a grand total of 39. Drain and Mickey each traded second and third in the feature race 1 and 2
Okay.
for 2 points and 3 points, respectively, meaning that each of them gains 5 points. Drain, having successfully completed his challenge, gets 6 points,
Yes.
putting Drain at 22,
22.
but Mickey at 23.
Mickey at 23.
And Trap, you were bringing it home for us with 2 additional points, bringing you to 13.
I will take my challenge point.
And your challenge point. And that is... That's it. You did it. You completed season 1. It's over.
Woo!
Congratulations, everyone. That is all the time we have tonight on Tonight We Race. Shout out to our excellent drivers.
There's a comment here. Did
Oh.
Mickey get a challenge point?
No, oh wait, hold on. No, Mickey did not get a challenge point. Oh wait, did he? No, yeah, he did. I'm sorry. Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
By $50.
Yes, I'm sorry. So they both got their challenge point. It was evened out.
Oh, sorry for doing that.
Drain needed to get up at 2 points really to
Well,
bring it ahead.
he needed to finish second.
Yeah, otherwise it would have been a tiebreaker. And the tiebreaker, we had not decided if we were actually going to do it here tonight, if it came up, or if we would let it run to a future session. Personally, I think the ultimate tiebreaker would be no practice, no prep. Everybody climbs into a Formula V at the bottom of the Mount Washington Hill climb, and the first person at the top of the mountain wins, just full stop. And that's it.
I was thinking that the teeny tiny oval.
Oh, the Chili Bowl?
Yeah, the Chili Bowl.
The Chili Bowl in sprint cars? Yes, they all did it. I am so happy with the driver performances in Caesar 1. That's just a lot of extreme high intensity mental and physical workout to pull it off. And now it's officially all the time we have
Yes.
on Tonight We Race. Again, shout out to the drivers. Shout out to everybody who donated the time to make this process and this thing possible. I think the world of you. We are not quite done with the season, although this is the last Tuesday night. We have one more show tomorrow night in season 1, the end of the GT4 League, where there are, in fact, 7 drivers, including our remotes, and a number of dramatic shifts possible. There are basically 2 ties in second and third. I think the goals and Conan drama is probably going to be the primary drama to watch. So please come on back tonight. We're not doing the normal outro tonight because this is the end of the season, but I will reiterate the same thing we have said at the end of the previous 12 broadcasts, which is that this is a community activity. We want you to participate. Please join the Discord, which is listed at the bottom of the social tabs, and come chat with our drivers. And most importantly, if you would like to add your wheels to ours in subsequent seasons, we would love to have you either in a remote driver capacity or just in a cold open capacity, or if you are a Seattle local over the age of 18 and willing to sign some weighty paperwork that allows you to do this safely, we would love to have you in a racing pod. I can't guarantee that season 2 is going to be a 3-night-a-week thing. I think that the complexity of running this on 3 nights a week is an awful lot as a solo venture, and so it's probably going to be a 2-night-a-week. Maybe I can see my dogs a little bit more. We're going to see you tomorrow night. Thank you for coming out to Tonight We Race Tuesday League. See you soon. Y'all did it.
We did it.
Now you just have to do it again in a couple months. There are no more Kit Kats.
F1 ate them all. F1 ate all the Kit Kats.
Who would have thought that like the thing that everyone takes away from this is the Kit Kats?
I mean, it's the real news.
How did we get here?